Today our topic is how to stay stoic in a world full of distractions. In a world that never stops moving, where notifications buzz constantly, and endless streams of information demand our attention, staying stoic can feel like an impossible task. But Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us how to remain calm, focused, and in control, even when the world around us is chaotic. The core idea of Stoicism is simple. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. This sounds easy, but in practice, it requires discipline, self-awareness, and a shift in mindset. Let's start by understanding what Stoicism really means. Stoicism is not about being emotionless or indifferent. It's about recognizing that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is a powerful idea because it puts the power back in our hands. No matter how chaotic the world becomes, we always have a choice in how we react. The first step to staying stoic in a world full of distractions is to identify what truly matters to you. Distractions are everywhere: social media, news, advertisements, and even other people's opinions. These things can pull us away from our goals and values if we let them. To stay stoic, you need to clarify your priorities. Ask yourself, what is important to me? What do I want to achieve? What kind of person do I want to be? Once you have a clear sense of your values and goals, it becomes easier to ignore the distractions that don't align with them. The next step is to practice self-discipline. Stoicism teaches us that self-control is one of the greatest virtues. In a world that constantly tempts us with instant gratification, self-discipline is like a muscle that needs to be trained. Start small. For example, if you find yourself reaching for your phone every few minutes, try setting it aside for an hour and focus on a single task. Over time, you will find it easier to resist distractions and stay focused on what truly matters. Another important aspect of Stoicism is learning to accept what you cannot change. Life is full of uncertainties, and many things are beyond our control: the weather, other people's actions, or global events. Trying to control these things will only lead to frustration and stress. Instead, focus your energy on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. When you accept the things you cannot change, you free yourself from unnecessary worry and can direct your energy toward more meaningful pursuits. Stoicism also teaches us to embrace challenges and difficulties as opportunities for growth. In a world that often seeks comfort and convenience, this can be a difficult mindset to adopt. But the Stoics believed that obstacles are not something to avoid. They are something to overcome. When you face a challenge, instead of complaining or giving up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? By shifting your perspective, you can turn even the most difficult situations into opportunities for personal development. One of the most powerful tools in Stoicism is the practice of negative visualization. This might sound strange at first, but it's a way to prepare yourself for life's uncertainties. The idea is to imagine the worst-case scenario in any situation. For example, if you're worried about losing your job, imagine what would happen if it actually happened. How would you cope? What steps would you take to find a new job? By visualizing the worst, you reduce the fear and anxiety associated with it. This doesn't mean you should dwell on negative thoughts, but rather that you should prepare yourself mentally for whatever life throws your way. Another key aspect of Stoicism is gratitude. In a world that constantly tells us we need more money, more success, more possessions, it's easy to forget what we already have. Stoicism reminds us to appreciate the present moment and the things we often take for granted. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a warm meal, a kind word from a friend, or a moment of peace and quiet. Gratitude helps us stay grounded and reminds us that even in difficult times, there is always something to be thankful for. Staying stoic also means being mindful of your thoughts. Our minds are often filled with negative self-talk, worries, and doubts. Stoicism teaches us to observe these thoughts without judgment and to question their validity. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it true? If not, let it go. By becoming more aware of your thoughts, you can choose to focus on the ones that serve you and let go of the ones that don't. This practice takes time and effort, but it can greatly improve your mental clarity and emotional resilience. In a world full of distractions, it's also important to create a space for reflection and solitude. The Stoics believed that spending time alone with your thoughts is essential for self-awareness and personal growth. In our modern world, where we are constantly connected to others through technology, solitude can feel uncomfortable at first. But it's in these quiet moments that we can truly reflect on our lives, our values, and our goals. Try setting aside a few minutes each day to disconnect from the outside world and simply be with yourself. Use this time to meditate, journal, or simply sit in silence. This practice will help you stay centered and focused, even when the world around you is chaotic. Finally, Stoicism reminds us to live in accordance with nature. This doesn't mean living in the wilderness, but rather living in harmony with the natural order of things. Accept that change is a part of life, that nothing lasts forever, and that everything has its time and place. When you align yourself with this truth, you can approach life with a sense of peace and acceptance. You'll no longer be thrown off balance by the ups and downs of life, but instead, you'll be able to navigate them with grace and resilience. In conclusion, staying stoic in a world full of distractions is not about shutting out the world or avoiding emotions. It's about cultivating inner strength, clarity, and focus. By identifying your values, practicing self-discipline, accepting what you cannot change, and embracing challenges, you can build a life that is meaningful. Remember, the world will always be full of distractions, but you have the power to choose where to direct your attention. Stay grounded in your values, focus on what you can control, and approach life with gratitude and resilience. This is the essence of Stoicism, and it is a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of modern life.